picking up their 25th win in style, the second most points in the last 30 years, really, if you think about it. They had 149, pardon me, back in 2019, and then 147 tonight as we welcome you to Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle, Jim Lynam, Mark Jackson. This was domination from the jump. Detroit led 3-2. That was it. Sixers went on a 12-2 run, and they never looked back. Let's talk a little bit about that third quarter first. Mark, it was where they really started to separate. You didn't even have the starters play in the fourth quarter. Exactly.
They sit there and make that run, and Joel Embiid, the pace. I don't want to say this, but that young Pistons teams didn't give much effort. And it seemed like that third quarter was where it kind of just ran out of time, like their meter. And the Sixers took full advantage of it.
I mean, this was an understaffed Pistons team. We know that even with all of their full complement, they would still have a tough time, but no real inside presence. 82 points in the paint, Jim.
Yeah, the Sixers dominate aim in every aspect of this game. And you're right. I think what happens sometimes with the starting group that they had out there, which was not their normal starting group, obviously, because they were missing so many players. But they get demoralized. I thought that their defense was like fair at best. And then as the Sixers started scoring almost at will because they were playing so well, I think, you kind of give it up a little bit.
He's being kind. It was Olay defense. They just let him go some by. A couple of times, everyone so well, just like watch Joel Embiid run right by him. Let's check out that third quarter. 42 points. It's a Colonial Nissan game changer. There's 42 points, the most by the Sixers in any quarter this year. But they were doing it all. Obviously, they're crashing the boards, but the passing, the ball movement, Mark, this was what you want to see. I know there was no defense, but the Sixers taking advantage regardless.
They really did, Amy. For them, Sixers took, but they're professionals. They're supposed to. If you're not going to put up a roadblock, we're just going to come right through. And they just picked this team apart. Look at this. Sixers play well, yes, but they're professionals. Detroit's professionals. They didn't put up a good fight, and they didn't look like they really give a darn to me.
I mean, yeah, there was an example of that Olay defense where just kind of like almost a flag down. And I know they don't want to foul, but this is it's kind of hard to watch, especially for a guy like Dwayne Casey who demands, I would think, his teams play harder.
Yeah, I think what happened, Dame, in the fourth quarter, I thought it was more competitive because you had deep bench guys, who are just really happy to be out there. And usually when that's the case, then it turns to a little bit of, you score, I score type of thing. I think both teams scored 40 points plus in the fourth quarter as a result. But this stretch here in the third quarter, I didn't really think the effort defensively by the Pistons was anywhere near what they needed.
Yeah, to your point, 40 points for the Sixers in the fourth, 41 for the Pistons. Well, we were talking about them pregame. Let's check in now with Paul Reed with Kate Scott and Al Absanabi.
All right, Paul, great effort again tonight. You looked really good in Detroit on Sunday and again here tonight. How did you feel about your performance these last couple of games?
I feel like I've been playing good, been playing real solid, trying to show coach that I can play the right way and I can help the team win.
What is the right way? What are coaches telling you that he's expecting of you to get more minutes out there?
Hey, man, just going out there playing hard for one. Two, playing unselfish. And three, just being a dog on defense. Setting screens, rolling, doing all the little things, all the little details, all the dirty work. That's what he expects.
We can tell you did that tonight. The sweat just dripping off your brow, Paul. And it was cool after shoot-around this morning. We talked to D'Anthony Melton and Tyrese, and your teammates are just the biggest supporters of yours. Talk about what they've been saying to you when maybe you haven't gotten much playing time the last couple of weeks.
Just thought. I think I'm from the crowd. That's so cool that they being so supportive of me. I mean, those guys are amazing, man. On and off the court, I try to learn a lot from the guys. Extremely hard workers and, can't ask for better teammates.
Well, they say the exact same thing about you. So great work again tonight, Paul. We'll see you again on Thursday night.
Good win, brother.
Thank you.
B-ball Paul going over to say hey to the fans. Christian Cosby right there, signing the game ball. This is a guy who, you heard him say, no, I'm just trying to do what I can. I'm trying to play my role. He wants them to be a dog on defense. Doc Rivers has mentioned that. He knows that's who he is. What can he do offensively to kind of get a little bit more playing time when it allows, Jim?
Yeah, and I think the last part of your statement, when the playing time is there, that's one of the issues. There's only but so many minutes to go around. But I think he's doing a good job, and I think you heard him articulate what Doc has talked to him about. He certainly does play hard. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he's understanding what it means. Sometimes young players don't quite get it. What do you mean when you say play selfish? Well, when you catch a ball in the middle of the paint, which is a good place to try to score from, you don't have to score all the time. You catch it there, a lot of times you'll draw defense. We'll kick it out to a teammate on the perimeter. You get an assist if a guy makes a three. So as young players, you have to get an understanding of the way things work out on the NBA court.
Yeah, 3 rebounds, 6 points, 3 blocks for B-Ball Paul. He's a guy that is trying to do what he can. He's trying to play within himself. Doc Rivers said the other day that sometimes when he was getting out there, he wasn't doing that. He was trying to do too much. But I thought we saw a nice game from him in this previous Pistons game. Obviously, it's a good time here. Obviously, you're going against a Pistons team at that point when he came in the fourth quarter that was really down for the count. But can he make a niche for himself in whatever minutes he gets, Mark?
Amy, I think we need to touch on that if you don't give me a second.
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand. Now he understands. Like he said, he was trying to do too much. I mentor a lot of NBA players, young guys, and I say you have to star in the role that they want you to have. You can't go into every game and practice. I need to show you this. I need to show you this. You have to humble yourself. Say, okay, what you label it, you want me to do what? Okay, I must flourish at that role. And when I flourish at that role, then I be a star at that role. Then I'm able to get more freedom to do other things. But you got to show that you can provide what they need from you at that time. Reed is starting to understand that. He said, oh, y'all want me to do that? Okay, well, let me just worry about that and I'm going to do too much. And then they will see that, and then you'll get more opportunities.
Yeah, that's such a good point. You always also say know your personnel because he needs to know who he is, and Doc needs him to be that guy. Well, let's talk about the other big man besides Paul Reed. Oh, that's Joel Embiid. Didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter, played about 23 minutes. He is the subject of our Yingling Presents Lager Up. 36 points on 12 of 20. Everybody obviously has good shooting nights, but Jim, this is almost pedestrian because he made it look so easy.
Yeah, tonight I'll have to say, yeah, that's a good phrase, Aim. But I'm going to just point out one thing. For stretches in the second half, he was being guarded by Kevin Knox.
Yeah.
And I know you're well familiar with him, one of those Kentucky guys.
Right.
And I think Kevin Knox is a decent NBA player, but he's not about to guard Joel Embiid, please.
No, I mean, that's a mismatch. Kevin Knox at about 6'7". He is a bigger guy, but that's between him and Nerlens Noel, there was really no contest. But when Embiid sees Kevin Knox matched up on him, Mark, he has to know he can go to town.
Absolutely. It's important to understand that I don't care what size human being you put on that court, you can't slow Joel Embiid down. But you have to understand, you have him guarding me, that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I must demolish him and destroy him. And that's what has to happen. Joel Embiid played almost a half of a game, getting big-time numbers. I mean, come on now.
Just under 24 minutes. Here's a guy that hadn't played the previous 3 games, dealing with that left foot soreness. So, Mark, it's a good opportunity. They were able to get that big lead. He got some rest, much needed, because they have the game here on Thursday against the Thunder, and then they have a longer 5-game West Coast swing.
And it's important that you continue rhythm of the game. So it's not like, well, let's sit this out. No, let's play. Let's keep rhythm. Let's keep our conditioning. And we can limit our minutes and lead the game healthy and get the win. That's the most important thing. We tried to do this a lot of times last year. It never worked out that way. These games end up being tighter where he had to play a lot more minutes than he wanted to. So it's good to see they accepted the mission and they fulfilled the mission.
I mean, it says right there on your screen, Sixers crushed the Pistons. Joel Embiid only played 23.5 minutes or so. But let's go with one Tyrese Maxey. There's a guy who's still getting his legs under him, but he showed those bursts, Jim, I thought, tonight. Different variations of speed that he's able to do. Yeah,
that's a great point, Amy. He's really good at that. You see, he takes Ivy to the pick and then spins on him, and he gives Nerlens a little stop and go and literally stands him right up like he was a statue. See, you watch this on the baseline. You see Nerlens, who's an adequate shot blocker, but he bit on the little move that Maxey made when he brought him to a stop.
A little Kentucky on Kentucky crime there. No surprise that it's going Maxey's way when you think about it. But this was good, another good game to see. He obviously got some rest as well, but they didn't need him to do everything. And a guy that's working his way back, being close to 100%, but I would think that's helpful for him to be able to kind of like try different things and be able to work through whatever he might be dealing with.
Absolutely, shake the rust off. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. It does take a little bit of time, a little bit of game action. Practice can't simulate it. Shots in the gym can't simulate. One-on-one with the trainer can't. You need live action and getting the rhythm of the game in the course of, no matter if the team is good or bad, it's good, respectfully, that we win against the Detroit team back-to-back. We move up OKC, and then we build from there. The more the merrier.
Yes, it is. All right, let's check in now with Doc Rivers after his team's win here at the Wells Fargo Center.
Well, I mean, listen, they had tons of guys out. They're injured. They're young. And so, you know, for us, I just thought we had a professional game. We came out and played the right way, built the lead, and got our guys that need to play some minutes, which was great. So it was good to see Jaden and Paul and all the guys play tonight. That was good for us.
What did you make of Joel?
Yeah, he was fine. He was good. You know, had his speed back. As fast as I've ever seen him run was in the third quarter. I think he knew he had like 3 minutes left before he came out. You know, so I thought James, you know, his passing was unbelievable tonight again, which is good for us. And I liked our pace.
Considering the fact that that was just the 7th time the starters had all played together,
yeah.
What pleases you most about the way that all 5 of them really found a way to make an impact?
Yeah, you know, it's a lineup that we're still evaluating, you know, defensively, because clearly it's a good offensive lineup. We know that. And so if we can be a good defensive lineup as well with that lineup, it can be really good for us. We just haven't seen it a lot, you know, and we've had no in a rows, you know, where they've played together 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, it's been 1 and 2, and then one guy's been out. So that was good to see. Hopefully we can keep that going.
At that point, what do you like, or what did you kind of make of the different combinations you had out there tonight? Just because,
it was tough tonight. You can't judge tonight because some of the rotations, especially in the second half, we have never done. So even in the first half, you know, typically we want Shake and Matisse in, and then we didn't bring Matisse in. I mean, Shake and Tyrese in, but we didn't bring Tyrese in for a couple extra minutes because of the lead. So you can't get a lot out of the rotations tonight.
Did you think about leaving Melton in the starting lineup, or do you like him more in that 6-man role?
We like them both, you know, and he can play both. So there may be nights where he does. But, you know, he's an elite defender. We have that on our side. We know that. But, you know, in the other way, you put Tyrese and Tobias and that group out there, they're elite offensively. So, you know, we'll see.
What did you make of Jaden? I know it was just garbage time.
He was great. Jaden, I'm telling you, he is, you know, we talk about DeAnthony, and this is probably a hell of a statement, but I think he's going to be an elite defender. I really do. I think he's naturally physical. You know, he has a chance to be a good player on the defensive end, and then the offensive part about his cutting, his rebounding. He does things that he has a chance to be a good player.
Well, they're talking a little bit about Jaden Springer. Here's a guy that, you know, is making a real quick trip all the time up 95 between Delaware and Philly to Delaware. It's hard to see where he is. They obviously wanted to get him some minutes, so he's with the Blue Coats quite a bit. But he had 10 points tonight. Obviously not a lot of work, but he made the most of it. What do you think about Jaden Springer and his possible role going forward in the future, Mark?
Oh, in the future, you know, that dictates contracts and all that, what happens, but there's no, I'm not going to say that. It's going to be very difficult for him to get on the floor for this team this year.
Right.
And, you know, with the backcourt they have and the guys that come off the bench, it's going to take some time for him to get in this rotation. He's got to stick with it.
Jimmy, what do you think of his game?
Yeah, I only know him casually, Aim, but I like that phrase. What I've seen of him, Doc just hit it on the head, naturally physical. You know, he's a strong guy, plays with a little bit of an edge, and Doc spoke to the possibility of him being like an outstanding defensive player. And I think that, you know, you have to get, if you're a young guy, you have to listen to the coaches. And if he were to embrace that kind of a role at the outset, then he'll start getting a lot of attention.
Mark, can he be that guy?
He has promise. He has promise, but you need opportunity, Amy. And When you got a backcourt like this and guys, this kind of guys, team competing for a championship, they have a championship laden roster. It's gonna be hard for you to crack that rotation.